Yeah, but everybody, if you're joining us here today, as you trickle in, I'm speaking to Claudia. We've spoken obviously a few times on the podcast and in lives and things like that over the last sort of few months. So it's really cool to get to catch up with you again, Claudia. How are you?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm very good. I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. It's always good to it was good to chat. But yeah, so what were you going to ask me there just before we start doing the live?
Yeah, because I've been wondering, and I also get that question a lot for people about lives. And I feel like at the end of last year and also the beginning of this year, there was a crazy hype around lives, and everybody was doing them like multiple times a week. And I feel like it slowed down a bit, but I don't know if that's just my what I see. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you still see them?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think there definitely was like crazy hype at the end of last year and the start of this year, and then
Yeah.
it has kind of slowed a little bit. And I definitely noticed that. I always find that whenever I do a lot of lives in quick succession, again, maybe this is just a strange kind of like parallel with what's happening in terms of growth, but I always feel like I get more subscribers in the period after I've done a lot of lives. There's a bit of like a spike. Obviously, people can subscribe to other people through the lives and stuff like that, but I just wonder sometimes is Substack maybe because they want us to use lives a lot, are they maybe sort of like giving us a bit of an extra boost in the background if we do lives more often? I don't know if that's something they do or not, but I definitely noticed a bit of a correlation there. Anyway,
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
But you
Yeah.
did like you did lives a lot for a while. Like it seemed to be every single time I went on the Substack, you were going live with somebody else, which is great. Did you see like a real benefit from that?
Um, I mean, I don't know, to be honest. I mean, if I look at my Substack or my lives that are more about how to grow on Substack or step by step, and more like I feel like more like Q&As almost. I think they did well, and then I did see like yeah, actually a conversion rate spike up there from free to paid. But then I feel sometimes if it's more of a I don't know, like a random story. I don't know. I did a few lives with people about storytelling or I don't know, things like this. And I feel they're not so well received and people don't really click them so much. I don't know. Um, yeah, I
Mm.
don't know. I feel like if it's more Q&A session, people find it more helpful.
Yeah, I kind of gauge it on how many questions maybe we get during lives as well, like how engaged people actually are with the topic. And
Hmm.
in saying that, if you're watching this and you do have any questions for anything we talk about, then pop it into the comments and we'll try and address it. We're going to be kind of talking a little bit about how there's a lot of big creators joining Substack at the minute, as I'm sure you've noticed if you're on Substack at any length of time, and maybe why that is and what's happening with Substack in terms of that. So. But yeah, so first of all, Claudia, who have you seen join Substack in the last sort of few weeks or months that you're really excited about? Who are you really glad to see be here now?
Yeah. I mean, I thought about this a little bit, and I'm still fairly new to this entire solopreneur, onlinepreneur thing. I mean, I've been doing this now for a year, but sometimes I have people reach out to me and say like, "Oh my God, do you know that this and this joined the platform?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I don't know that person. I haven't. I feel like I'm not very well into the scene yet." But one person I did know and that I was excited about is Justin Welsh.
Mm.
Um, Also it's not like I followed his journey like for years, but at least I have heard about him, and I feel on Substack now I've commented a few on a few of his posts, and I restacked one yesterday, and he's very accessible and friendly, and people seem to appreciate him, so I think that just brings a good vibe to the people to Substack.
Yeah, no, I agree. Justin Welsh is one of the ones I was really excited to see. I sort of
Mhm.
been following him on Twitter for a few years, and you're right. He always does this thing where whenever he puts out a new post, or he did this on Twitter anyway, he would like set aside like half an hour after he put it out to answer questions and stuff. And then that,
Mhm.
that would be it. Then he wouldn't do anything else with that post after that point, but he would set aside that period of time. I think that was a great way to like engage with the subscribers and get to know them better and stuff, and for them to feel they could trust him going forward. But yeah, Justin's class. Like again, I never really had any particular communication with him, other than him maybe commenting on a post of mine here and there. But I'd love to get a proper conversation with him at some point. I think it'd be really cool to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I mean, it's also highly strategic, right? I think if you interact actually with the post that is out and you interact within like the first half an hour or 1 hour, it's like a lot of platforms treat it like that, right? That it just like it spirals more and it gets more push from the platform itself. So I actually recently started thinking about that more. You know, if you put something out there, just stay more in the comments and just after right after you post
Mm.
it. So it just
Yeah.
gets another boost. Yeah.
That's good advice, actually. Yeah, because sometimes this like older advice you would have got would be like post and ghost. So you post something and you just leave it and don't even look at it again. But I
Yeah.
think that whenever it's first posted, it's usually the time that it gets most engagement and people have the most questions about what you've just said. And that's the
Yeah.
best time to connect with people. So I've been trying to do that more lately as well, just in general, trying to answer more questions, trying to create more touch points with my audience to actually have conversations with them. And that's why I've started doing this like weekly office hours kind of thing. You do this kind of stuff as well. And where you kind of have this engagement session with your subscribers and get the chance to talk to them.
Mhm.
Have you seen a real kind of like positive impact from that? Because you're very good at this, where you start these chat threads and stuff, and you'll ask questions, and then people will pile in and start having conversations and sharing things. Have you seen like a boost in terms of your audience growth or your connection with your audience because of that?
Yeah, I would say for sure, connection. I feel like, um, yeah, it goes a little bit more towards really talking to people and making them feel seen.
Mm,
And so I feel that like, yeah, those chats are really a way to just connect to and specifically to my paid subscribers. I mean, I also do those free
mm,
boosts, but the paid ones are, yeah, where I get to know really yeah, people like my customers, but also my audience better. And something that I started doing recently, but I recommend it actually a lot is, you know, I started doing those Friday AMA sessions, kind of, you know, where I asked like, hey, do you have any questions? I'm here to, you know, to
mm,
answer any of this. But I realized that a lot of times people are, you know, you kind of need to give them a direction of what kind of questions they should actually ask.
mm,
So what I started doing now is every Friday for my paid subscribers, I give them more of a, yeah, like a precise tip and then personal feedback, right? So today, like this week, I wrote about like something about your Substack design and how to do it. And so
mm,
in my chat today, I said like, hey, did you see my post? Feel free to share your publication today. I'll take a look and see what I can suggest you to design better, you know. And
mm,
with doing that, you know, you really interact. I mean, of course, it's more time intense because you actually, you know, give personal feedback all the time. But I think that's something that makes me feel connected to
mm.
them very, very much. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw you were doing that with the post recently and stuff. It's really cool as well, just to kind of create that bridge between your actual articles and on your chat.
Yeah.
And I think if you can give people real like direct feedback about a certain topic, I think they need like an issue that they have they need help with, rather than just kind of saying let's just have a conversation. I think
Yeah.
that's much more effective. I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
But
can I share one more nugget that I
yeah,
actually just discovered this week? Because you know that Substack is posting like those chat threads every like in the platform itself,
mm,
and those chat threads, because Substack wants to keep you inside their ecosystem, they are really, yeah, I think they're pushed out a lot. And so in my free boost on Wednesday, where I know I get a lot of traffic, I actually added a sign up link to my bootcamp. And
mm,
that, if the chat is shared, you know, gets also pushed by Substack. So I think if you're heavy into your chat, that's just also a smart way to using the platform itself pushing it. So that's a
yeah.
little nugget I discovered this week.
That's a great idea, actually. Yeah, because yeah, they do automatically push that onto your feed, on other people's feeds, should I say? And then yeah, I mean, you're basically putting like a not a lead magnet, but like a just a direct link to something, which is really clever, actually. Yeah. Um, yeah, I've been trying to do more of that kind of stuff as well. Like I'm sure people, anyone who's on my publication will notice I've been putting more links to resources and things like that, to try and sort of help people and kind of direct them where I want them to go a little bit. Because um, I think if I can sort of put my audience in certain positions where I can help them best, by using like I don't like using the word funnels because I don't think funnels is a nice word, in
Mhm.
terms of kind of thing, but bringing them into like the orbit of something where they're going to be able to be helped best. So I can like give them like a resource that's about, you know, how to maybe use Substack with YouTube, that kind of thing. And then I can sort of push them maybe towards like into a conversation or whatever, like posts about Substack and YouTube
Mhm.
specifically, that sort of way. So if someone is interested in that kind of thing, they're going to like have a natural progression into a deeper learning situation on Substack, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny that you say you don't like the word funnel actually. Can I ask why?
Yeah, I know that it's like it's perfectly legitimate word. And I use it myself when I'm thinking about things sometimes, but
Yeah.
sometimes I kind of think of funnel as like you're just trying to push your audience into a certain direction all the time, and you're just trying to
Mhm.
get them like one end goal, all
Yeah.
the time. And I kind of think I like the idea more of like bringing subscribers or your audience into like your orbit in general, where they can kind of like dip in and out a little bit, but you kind of keep them in your general space,
Yeah.
by talking about things that they're interested in, helping them solve their problems and that sort of thing. So funnel always
Yeah.
feels very corporate and markety. And I know we have to
Mm.
market ourselves as writers, but I don't know what it is about it. It's just like something maybe I've got like a
Yeah.
stupid prejudice against it. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have like a negative connotation yet to the word funnel, but I don't find it very self-explaining. I think if you don't come from the marketing world or so, I felt, like it's actually not so clear what that means. And
Mm.
okay, you can imagine a funnel, but then how do you actually bring people through that and why and how so on? So yeah, I think maybe there's room for improvement to the funnel idea.
Yeah, definitely.
And we have
Um,
and we have
but
some questions actually. Shall we
yeah,
go
go
to
for
that?
it.
Okay, so Greg said, I know it's early, but do we have any thoughts on the impact of external links on reach? I know Substack wants people to stay, but how big is the impact, do you think?
I think that as much as Substack will always say that it doesn't mind external links and any platform it says it's like Blue Sky or whatever, I think they're always going to want you to stay on the platform. So I don't think they will limit links necessarily, but I don't think they'll maybe boost those kind of posts as much either. I don't think they're going to like actively try to like reward um posts with it with external links. I know that I've spoken to other creators as well who have like posted a lot of external links on notes or
Mhm.
in DMs, and they've seen a significant like reduction in their reach on notes for a period of time. And once they stopped doing it, after a while, it kind of like crawled up again. And I think I've maybe seen that myself as well. So I don't think that Substack limits it or punishes it using external links, but I would say they probably also don't necessarily reward it either. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree, but I've seen a bit of a switch as well. So I did notice that when I did it at the end of last year, it really got zero interaction if I posted external links, like nothing. And now when I do it, I actually feel it's more accepted. Now I don't know if they changed something on the platform or, you never know, but I feel it shifted a bit more towards, yeah, a bit more accepted. But overall, I agree with you. I mean, you can also see that, um, I remember I think in my welcome email, I said like, hey, if you want to get something back or like a little goodie or whatever, reply to this email. And then I got messages with screenshots saying like that Substack didn't allow to reply to the email because they said like, hey, write her a DM in the Substack system. So, you can see like, okay, they just really want you to stay within the system and not start like a parallel
Mm.
communication thread on email.
Yeah, yeah. I'll check these other comments here from Greg.
Uh-huh.
The good thing is you can have long form newsletters, community, and podcasts in this platform, so you can keep your audience here and kind of build those funnels without sending them other places. Just missing the email sequence functionality in this platform. If they had that, you almost never leave the platform. I agree. I do think that is something that's missing from Substack, but maybe that's just not a direction that they want to go in terms of what they want to do. I know that for me, I use like ConvertKit alongside Substack for certain things,
Yeah.
because it has that functionality, and sometimes I do want to be able to like nurture my audience in a way that doesn't require me to be online all the time because I just don't want to be online all the time. I don't think anyone wants that. But I think, yeah, I don't know if Substack will ever do that. I think maybe they might just keep themselves the way they are, purely as like a publication based, like focusing more on readers than anything else. But what do you think about that, Claudia?
Mm, I sorry. I do think that they will actually add more features like this in the future, and I could imagine that they will, for example, do an email sequence where maybe you even sign like pay for it, like as an extra paid feature. I could see that. or also that they will do more digital products integration. I don't know. I feel like they have to do it almost, because I don't know if you follow this Substack bestseller thread that they do every Tuesday. But today's Friday. So yeah, so 3 days ago I read a bit into it, and I saw a lot of people saying like, hey, for the last months, and even since the beginning of the year, paid conversion dropped a lot. Like people having more struggles converting from free to paid. And of course, you can always say, okay, it's the market, but it's also with AI and so on coming. I think we're also shifting a bit. The subscription model is also slightly changing with everything changing. And I'm not saying that it's that, but what I'm saying, or what I'm thinking is that, that's Substack's main business model. And if we struggle with that, then Substack will struggle with that. And I think they just have to essentially think about further ways to monetize themselves as well. And I think such things like sequences or digital products are like kind of the natural next step, unless they're thinking about adding ads, right? But I think then it would be ruined.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're going to do
Yeah.
everything they can to avoid adding ads. And that makes sense actually, that you would have like paid add-ons where you can add in those like kind of features for paid.
Mm.
I just hope Substack never goes down the route where it like Meta and stuff like that, where it's more about like visibility, where you're just not going to be seen unless you pay for it, that kind of thing. I
Yeah.
think that's the one major feature about Substack that I think is so good, is that there is more visibility naturally. It's organic, but I think yeah, once you start adding in paid visibility, it kind of wrecks things, or advertisements, as you say. But I
Yeah.
like that idea. I like the idea actually of like you pay for like additional features. That would make sense for certain creators and stuff. Just answer a couple of these questions here.
Hmm.
So Sam said, I'm new to marketing. My content, I do agree with David about funnels sounding a bit corporate. I'd like to market myself without being too pushy and salesy. I like bringing audience in general orbits, dip in and out when they're interested. Thanks, Sam, for agreeing with me. I appreciate that. It's always good to know whenever something I said actually makes sense. And Mark said, how can Substack, how can Substack reach out to cultural institutions instead of societal ones? I sense the platform is a chance to allow creativity of sentient beings. Artists can be heard. Um, what do you think about that, Claudia? What Mark said there?
First of all, do I hear your little doggy tapping on the floor
Yeah,
there?
the dogs running about here. Trying to keep them quiet, but they're kind of coming in and out of the room as I'm speaking here.
I love that. I think that sounds so cute. It's one of the best sounds, like those tap taps.
It's okay unless you're like on a live or a podcast, they're kind of coming in and out of the rooms. But yeah.
You have, what is it, a golden retriever?
I've got a golden retriever and a cockapoo. So if the golden retriever hears me, I'm screwed, because he's just gonna come up and like climb on my lap as I'm doing this, but he hasn't heard me just yet, thankfully. You have a dog too, don't you?
Yeah, I have a dog as well. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Mambo. He's a mix of anything.
Lovely.
Okay, but yeah, going back to that question, how can Substack reach out to cultural institutions instead of societal ones? Um, I'm not sure if I get the question, to be honest. So allow creativity, and maybe I don't know. Do you get it? Like, maybe you can give an example, Mark, what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I could take a wild guess, but I think, yeah, I'm not quite sure. Maybe he can clarify.
yeah. Give us an example, Mark, for what you mean. Maybe we'll answer that better. Um, Matt said, so would you think that having your own advertisers would be a drawback? I know this is an internal debate that we've been having. Um, I think let me just check here again. I think that it's not the end of the world if there's advertising on a platform, but I do think that it just shifts the focus and the motivation for a lot of people. You'd have people join in just purely to advertise, and I know that Substack isn't keen on that kind of thing, and I hope they don't really shift that direction. Because I like, one of the reasons why I don't really use Instagram or Facebook very much anymore is because of that, and Twitter obviously. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, but I think it would keep the platform more focused and more like community and human centered, than if they start out advertisers. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Matt, maybe if I get your question right, so you're saying having your own advertisers Do you mean that within Substack, or actually getting like, advertising outside and then kind of like getting people in? Because I think that's totally fine. I think people do that a lot, that you place like ads on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, or even do like TikTok reels and try to get people to your Substack. I think
Mm.
that's fine. I mean, that's just you trying to reach your audience and to increase that. I know that there are a lot of people doing this successfully. Um, yeah, but the
Yeah.
question is, okay, if you want to have kind of your own advertisers on Substack, is this how you understand it, David? That's, like
Uh,
having them on Substack?
yeah.
No, getting them on your own, not from Substack directly. Ah, yeah. Yeah, so I think that's fine, right? If you get them like for like, yeah, push ads outside and bring them in. I mean, that's just a win-win because you either grow your newsletter or you grow people coming to Substack, and then everybody can benefit from it. No, so I think that's fine. And I don't think that that's like punished in any way from the platform or people or whatever.
Yeah. Mark kind of clarified there, cultural institutions are concerned with our species' right to free speech. Societal institutions are all about regulating voice through hate speech, claims against speaking truth, governments ideologies. I'm not really sure, Mark, to be honest, about that. I couldn't really speak to that effectively, so I probably won't address that directly. But you're welcome to DM me if you want to ask about it and maybe clarify. But I won't address it here. I'm not 100% sure how to. If that makes sense. Same for you, Claudia.
Yeah, same for me. Yeah.
Mm. No, fair enough. So if anybody, again, if you're joining us, if you have any questions about anything that we're saying or any questions about Substack, feel free to drop it below, and we'll try and answer it if we can, or we won't answer if we can't, as we just did there now. Um, who else? So going back to this whole thing with creators joining
Yeah.
Substack from other platforms. Why do you think, first of all, that's happening at the minute? So it seems to have happened like almost overnight. Like a lot of big creators seem to have just suddenly decided they're going to start joining Substack like en masse. Why do you think that's happening at the minute?
That's a good question.
Mm.
My I actually never asked that myself, but now my mind goes directly into I think Substack is just doing more of a probably like a really a push. Like
Mm.
I mean they now have numbers that are worthwhile sharing with people, if you can reach out to a creator and say like, hey, we have 5 million paid subscribers, and just make it like a numbers game. I think that's convincing already. I'm pretty sure that in the US they are they're heavily focusing on marketing campaigns. They have those food programs right there, especially
Mm.
with TikTok and all the regulations. I think that plays into their cards as well. So I part of me thinks it's just really direct outreach from Substack to those creators. Um, and
Mm.
then a second is, it is growing organically, and I think it's just like the word is spreading more and more. Um,
Yeah.
and I think what Substack can at this moment really convince people with is that it's this, okay, you own your audience, you're not depending on the algorithm, and you kind of have this really communication line between people. So I think that's just convincing for,
Mm.
yeah. But what do you think? Why right now?
I agree with what you said, and I think what I've seen a lot of big creators say whenever they arrive in Substack is that it feels fresh and like a breath of fresh air. It feels different than other platforms, and I feel that way about it too. Obviously, anytime I go back to Twitter or anything like that, and I spend any time there, I'm like, oh, this is why I left, or this is why I don't really use it anymore because it's just kind of a crappy platform now. And whereas you come to Substack and there's like a community feel to it and it feels positive and people just try to support each other and that kind of thing. And if you're a creator who was on Twitter or something like that, and you've sort of seen this decline over the last sort of few months or even years in terms of engagement, in terms of reach, and just the muddling of real people and bots, that sort of thing. And then you came to Substack even for like a week and you tried it. I don't see how you wouldn't automatically want to spend more time on Substack. So, and I think as well, just whenever some big creators see other ones go into Substack and kind of like it's like a permission sort of thing. Like whenever you maybe see Justin Welsh or someone like that going, they maybe think, okay, if Justin's going, then I want to
Mm,
be there as well. If he thinks it's a good idea, then it must be because I trust
yeah,
him.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. I also think at this point, like I feel like still a lot of creative people and writers, and it's like still our little corner of the internet, and I think eventually that will change. But right
Mm.
now it's just a pleasant vibe to be here. You know what I said yesterday in a live session actually, that I at least I haven't seen it, but I feel one group of people that are a bit missing at the moment on Substack is musicians. Because
Mm.
with those live sessions, it would be so cool to like tap into a live jam or something like this, you know? And I
Yeah.
wonder if that would be a thing.
That's a good idea. I saw actually
Yeah.
that the band All American Rejects have been doing this thing on Instagram where they're
Mm,
going around and basically just doing like performances in like like house parties, and people
mhm.
can like book them, and then they just go live on like Instagram Reels and
Ah,
do like a free performance, and it's like apparently been this like massive success in terms of like reigniting them as a band and stuff like that. So I think
cool. Yeah.
there's definitely potential for that kind of thing on Substack for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
good
yeah, I
idea.
think
Um,
we have another question from Sam. I'm thinking of repurposing my content on Medium and possibly Beehive. What do you both think of this, and what has been your experience been on the different blogging platforms?
So first, really quick, I definitely repurpose stuff. I have like a catalog of articles on Medium that I'm not really using anymore because I'm not part of the Medium partner program anymore. So I've been maybe taking things off that and repurposing them a little bit and sort of punching them up a little bit and try and find ways to make them more applicable. Obviously, if the articles about Medium, they're not really relevant, but um, I think repurposing stuff is fine. I think it's highly unlikely someone is going to like stumble across an article that you've written before and see that it's been repurposed and care. You know what I mean? As long as you're providing that kind of value and that sort of thing, I'm not gonna mind too much about that. But like I repurpose stuff quite a lot. I repurpose posts that I've written on Twitter like years ago and then moved them on to Substack now and changed them a little bit to make them more applicable. I think if you've done the work in the past, it's okay to use it. It's your work. You can do anything you want with it, and you only have so many hours in the day to like write new things and so much brain power. I think if you can focus, or I think for me anyway, I like to focus more on writing original stuff that goes out on like a daily basis or several times a week on Substack. And then if I can repurpose things and free up more brain space a little bit for things like notes or whatever else, and then I'll happily do that. Or take just like sort of cherry pick ideas even from articles that you've written before. Take like a line from an article and then use that as a note, that kind of thing. Just save yourself some time and make it easier. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean, even on Substack, I mean, yesterday I posted an article like I looked at kind of like an article that performed well 7, 8 months ago. And I said like, hey, that's a topic I think that is relevant. It was like about designing your Substack, you know? And I just, I took it, I rewrote it a bit, I updated it because the platforms also change all the time. And then, I posted it again and people really appreciate it. So just always think that, just because it's out there, it doesn't mean that your audience is reading it. You just have to constantly push it and say your message again and again, find a little bit different words, but yeah,
Mm.
repurposing is definitely
Yeah.
a thing, and you should do it. Yeah.
I think a really good thing to do is as well reshare your older articles. So just like restack them on the notes, that sort of thing. Because again, people might not have seen it before. If you have followers on notes, they might come across it again and then subscribe if they're not subscribed already or whatever. Whatever the situation is. But basically just give people a chance to see something again fresh that maybe you posted ages ago. You can always go into the articles as well and like update them a little bit and then reshare them because I'll give people a chance to see the most relevant information as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Mark said there, I like how Substack allows me to hire artists and display their artwork and also tap into musicians in YouTube Shorts. Yep, good point.
Yeah,
I think, yeah, it's great for that.
that's
Yeah.
true. David, I have a question. How do you still use Medium or hi Ronnie? What are your thoughts on Medium at the moment?
I haven't used Medium in nearly a year.
Oh,
I basically just stopped using it. Not because I have anything particularly against it. I just decided that I'd rather just focus purely on writing on Substack and then writing fiction as well. So it's hard to like squeeze in like a third round of writing things per day. If you're trying to write books at the same time. So I think I just kind of thought about it and was like, which do I want to spend more time on? What platform do I like best? Where am I growing the most? And I thought Substack was the best place for that for me in terms of nonfiction, and then I could just allocate a couple of hours a day or whatever to writing books, which I really love to do as well. So,
yeah.
yeah, are you still on it?
A little bit. I mean, every now and then I actually repurpose my Substack articles and put them onto Medium. And I mean, the idea is not by no means to earn money with Medium because that has never really worked for me. But what I do is, just as a now we have the word funnel again, but really kind of like just posting on Medium and bringing people over to my Substack. And well, it has worked okay. I mean, I get a couple signups a week. It's not the world, but it takes me a couple seconds to just post my Substack post on Medium. So it's fine. And somehow, I mean, yeah, I just started doing that again. Like I have been very inconsistent on Medium since I kind of decided I don't want to do this last year, and only focus on Substack. So yeah.
Yeah.
Are you on other platforms as well? Because I know you're on Twitter and something
Mm.
else.
I'm on lots of stuff. I just don't use most of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of on most platforms. The ones I would use on a daily basis in terms of actually posting things are Substack. I try and post stuff on YouTube quite a lot, so we try to make more YouTube content.
Yeah.
I lurk on Blue Sky, and I lurk on Twitter, but Twitter I pretty much just use for like football updates now. Nothing else I really look at
Yeah.
on Twitter at this point.
Okay.
It's just like football transfer news, which is like that's it really. But yeah, in terms of actually posting things, it's really only Substack and YouTube, and I'll occasionally use Instagram, but that's pretty much it. And TikTok sometimes as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, really only Substack and well, every now and then Medium. I am thinking now playing around with also putting some things on Instagram, but more really as I want to try an ad funnel, to be honest. I do want to see if that's something that works well or not at all.
Mm,
Um, yeah, so I'm playing around with that at the moment. I don't want to make like an entire Instagram or TikTok account. I feel like that would take too much energy and kind of like not fit my style of how I use social media. So yeah, let's see. But playing around with the ad idea.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna definitely try more stuff with ads as well. Between Substack and like my own like business as well. I did try it there briefly for a while, and it kind of worked. But I didn't really like enjoy doing it, and I still think I can almost do more with organic reach than I can with paid ads. But we'll see. Like the more I can shift into Substack, and the more my other business, which is like about like marketing in Northern Ireland and stuff, and the more that I
Mhm.
can like automate it, then I might just put more money towards advertising on it, so I don't have to look at
Yeah.
it as much. But yeah, it's interesting. Like I think everything's always changing, and there's things
Mm.
like a year ago I never thought I'd be doing that I'm doing now, and that sort of stuff. So hard to predict
Mm.
what's gonna happen in the future.
Yeah,
um,
true.
Greg said there real quick. He said, "I think Substack's a great place to test ideas in your notes, short form on the idea. If it hits, write it long form or turn it into other content, then repurpose it." Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Greg. I would definitely do that as well sometimes. Is that something you would do, Claudia?
I would, but I haven't done it yet. Actually, it's not. I use notes actually a little bit different, so I wouldn't. I like at least I have not done it yet, but I think it's not a bad idea. But
Mm,
I use notes more for kind of like creating this trust between my readers and me, and really
mm,
letting them inside my thoughts and my day. It's like more of this trust creation and not so much like a hypothesis testing thing for me.
yeah,
Um, yeah, not a bad idea though. Maybe I give it a try.
yeah, it's a good idea. We'll probably come to the end of this conversation in a minute or two, but and if anyone has any questions really quick, you want to just fire them in at the end, we'll try and quickly answer them. But what have you got coming up next, Claudia? So I know you're working on a few things in the background, but what's kind of your next big thing that's on the horizon?
Yeah, next week on Thursday and Friday, I'm doing this boot camp for people to grow on Substack, to kind of like just share what worked for me, what features I use on Substack, for people also who are hitting like kind of a plateau in growth. Um, yeah, so I'm doing that. Day one is free for everybody, and day two is for my paid subscribers, where we go more into monetizing. So yeah, I have that
Mm,
coming up next week. What about you?
nice, that's brilliant. Yeah, so I'm launching this little mini product, the 1K Daily course, which is just like a little like resource to help people write consistently for 30 days. And I'm sort of testing it on myself because I'm part of the automation, so I'm getting emails at the minute, and it's actually kind of cool. Because it's
Mm.
basically just like a little email with a little like motivational video from me, and then a few bits and pieces of information and tips and stuff like that. But it's kind of cool seeing it work in real time. So I'm launching that next week, and anyone who wants to sign up to the wait list in advance can do that. There's different posts about it on my Substack, which you can find, and you'll get a little bonus if you sign up in advance to the wait list. So I'm excited about that, and then I'm looking at doing other things in the future over the next few months as well, in terms of like coaching and stuff like that. But yeah, it's exciting. Mark has said there real quick, how to maximize Substack reach when it is only social platform I'm comfortable using. Um, what do you think, Claudia? How do you maximize your reach on Substack if it's really the only one you're using?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to me, right? I basically my only social platform is Substack, so I'm not active on Medium a bit, but basically only Substack. And I think the one of the biggest levelers is to use notes. Really write a lot of notes. And I know in the beginning it can feel super lonely and you're not gonna get a lot of likes or interaction, but it does help you to be seen, interact with other people, join chats, do like connect, you know. And I think if you do that, just in the end, it's a time matter, you know. So if you keep on doing it, and then eventually it will pick up. For me, it took me 3 months of doing it every day, starting from zero and only being on Substack. And then you will see something happening eventually.
Yeah, I agree. Notes has been a real like game changer for me, and I'm always surprised by how many people when I talk to them, they say they're using notes a lot and it's not really working. And then I ask them like, how often do you post? And they say, oh, maybe like once a day or once every couple of days. And I always kind of say, just do it more, because the more you post, the better you get at writing notes then, and the more you can maximize your chance of being seen on the feed and that kind of thing. So, my very very simple advice is just post notes regularly, and post as many of them as you can. Not like just like fill the feed with like random stuff, but if you have something to say and you think it's a good idea, just post it. Don't worry too much about it. Don't worry about refining it and making it perfect. And if it seemed like a good idea to you, it's probably a good idea to somebody else. So just get it out there. And as Claudia said, you can start from scratch at that point, and you can grow purely on notes and on Substack over time. So yeah, just give it a go. And yeah, Greg, yeah, you're welcome. Great to have you here, and you shared some great questions and stuff as well. Really cool to have you here. And Matt is saying about rarely using Instagram and TikTok. Feel like it weighs me down, and it's a brain drain. I agree. It can be definitely be those kind of things as well. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, guys, thanks so much for being here. And make sure you subscribe to Claudia's publication up at the top before you go. And check out what she's up to, and join her boot camp, which is coming up soon, if there's any spaces available on that. And yeah, keep an eye out for things I'm going to be posting over the next few days as well. And make sure you join the waitlist for the 1K delay course as well. So anything else you want to say, Claudia, before we go?
Um, just that I love Greg's last comment. I think it's kind of nice to close with that he said, so thanks for this session, great ideas, and love being able to show up and see real people talking about great ideas. And that's what I also love about lives. And I think that's why it's a cool idea to do lives every now and then.
Yeah, for sure. You've never done one before, definitely give it a chance, and just speak to a friend like this, and discuss a topic you're interested in, and the 40 minutes you're on goes by very quickly.
That's true.
It does. But the golden retriever has now moved to my side, so any second he's going to climb on my lap. So I think we better stop. But
Oh,
yeah, I know. But yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. I'll share this conversation in an email in the next few days as well, so you can watch it back if you want to. But great to have you here. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. And I'll see you soon, Claudia.
thank you. Take care. Bye bye.